So today's let's say public lecture. It's a trendy word. Let's say communication. Today's communication will be about trends in higher education, and we will touch upon leadership models, let's say so. And though we are not going to go deep into the leadership styles, but still we will discuss some leadership trends in higher education and in education in general, and we will discuss the issue of something that is very important nowadays: who has voice in education, who should have voice in education. So under this particular term, voice, we mean who should participate in decision-making process in education and in higher education in particular. So not to be too vague, okay, because whose voice is a bit like difficult to understand. I will present the actual topics I will discuss. Okay, so that's global policy trends in higher education in terms of leadership and management, leadership styles, leading entrepreneurial universities, because leadership and management is directly connected, nowadays is directly connected to this particular tendency of viewing universities and higher education institutions as entrepreneurial institutions. So we will talk about the needs to develop entrepreneurial universities, and of course we will discuss the issue that is involvement in decision-making process. I don't know, Georgia is a good example, because we are located on this famous Silk Road, when we were connected to different nations in terms of trade, in terms of cultural exchange, let's say, in terms of political connections and economic links and so on. Okay, so if we say that once we were trading with Egypt and with countries in Middle East, so how it is different? That is the question. How globalization is different from let's say, traditional trade that nations used to have throughout the centuries. Right? In terms of education, it means that we are all interconnected and we are part of this system. And this system can have different names in Western Europe, and now this area is expanding and it's trying to include Eastern Europe and countries of former Soviet Union, and this process is well known to you. It's called Bologna process, and different countries are trying to participate in this process, because people say that there could be only advantages to this process. Okay, so Bologna process ensures, it is, I would say, it is one good example of global interconnectedness, when people try to set up the framework in which different countries and different educational institutions within these countries try to cooperate with each other, or on the contrary, try to compete with each other. And competition is here. Competition is here at local level, at national level, at regional level, at international level. And this competition is quite visible when here we all know, even in the Georgian context, there are lots of universities who actually have to compete with each other. They have to compete for funds, they have to compete for students, and so on and so forth, so for resources. And this competition is visible at, as I said, at regional level, at national level, and at international level. So when we actually speak about these tendencies, so people we will ask a question: what's the solution to these problems? Right? What is the solution? What should big nations or small nations, developed nations or developing nations, what should they do to find answers to these accumulated problems? And the answer is, a lot of scholars would say, and this is one major global tendency in the world, the tendency that is called decentralization. Okay, so they say that decentralization will give answers to different problems accumulated at different levels, again at regional level, or at national level, or at international level. But it's not our aim. Our aim is to have a look at the decentralization process itself, and why do we need decentralized systems, and who should participate in decision-making process. Okay, so once again we need to link this argument to previous argument, to the theory of globalization, and globalization has brought policies and tendencies and approaches developed somewhere else. When I say somewhere else, I would refer, once again, I would refer to Western culture. Okay, so based on this argument, we need to say that there are different types of evolution and deconstruction, and let me present the types of deconstruction that actually people have in the system of education. Okay, here I would like to present Stephen Ball's argument when he speaks about education, as business and business of education. Okay, so there is these two different approaches, and whichever approach you actually follow, we come to the argument that education has become a commodity. And once again, let me say, grassroots does not necessarily mean that only parents or only students are participating. People who are directly affected, they all participate in the decision-making process. That would mean teachers who have to actually implement all these policies in the classroom. And once again, Stephen Ball was saying that we should not forget that the governments, the central governments may take decisions, they may set up policies, but at the end of the day, it's only teacher who is trying to implement these policies in the context. Okay, so of course they should participate in decision-making process to vote for the decisions that directly affect you. So that's why I say, whose voice should be heard? And in this particular case, we could come to the argument that everybody, ideally, everybody's voice should be heard. Okay, we should listen to everybody's voice, be it, let's say, central government representatives, be local authorities, or educators, or administration of universities or educational institutions, students, parents, and representatives of community. Okay, so this is something that balanced control is arguing for. So if you want to introduce something in the system, you need to follow this. You need to actually think about different components. And as you see here, we have vision and skills and incentives and resources and action plan. So once again, let me finish my presentation with this argument. If we agree that education is not simply a commodity but public good, then public should participate in decision-making process, and it is only possible through balanced control of education, which is a combination of, let's say, grassroots model, like professional control and community control of education when these different parties participate in decision-making process. So if you have any reflections, any arguments, any comments, any ideas, we can